Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Evans versus Snyder.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Good day. Mr. Evans, you claim your relationship with the defendant was just a week-long fling, and you are certain you are not the biological father of her 2-month-old daughter, Lainey. Once today's results prove what you already know, you want your last name back. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Ms. Snyder, you claim today's DNA test will prove that the plaintiff is Lainey's father, and you need him to step up and help support your daughter. Is that correct?
Your Honor.
So, Mr. Evans, you say you're certain this is not your child.
I'm absolutely certain.
Explain.
So, the baby doesn't look like me from the get-go. Like, as soon as I saw her, I was just like, she don't look like me. She doesn't have my nose, she doesn't have my eyes. Like, I would see, features, that would resemble me, and she doesn't look anything like me. So, I just want to know. I mean, if she is mine, then okay, I'll man up and take care of my little girl. And but if she's not mine, then I want my name back.
So, Ms. Snyder, I see you are so emotional.
Yes, Your Honor, because I just want to prove that he's the father and how much I love her and all that.
And when you think about a man denying your baby and saying, she's not mine,
It just makes me mad.
I can see you just can't take your eyes off of her. What are you feeling in this moment right now?
Emotional and kind of sad.
Why?
Because it's just overwhelming right now.
So today truly means everything to you. This is important.
Yes, Your Honor.
This is the day that you feel like you're going to get a father for your baby.
Yes, Your
The
Honor.
father she deserves.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Evans, please take me to the day you met Miss Snyder. How did you meet?
So I was downtown playing drums, and so she walks up to me, and I see her, and she's looking at me, and I'm just like, okay. And she's like, starts giving me those eyes, and I'm like, okay, I know that look. And then she starts, dancing a little bit, and then starts flashing her boobs. And
No, I didn't.
Wait, what?
Yes, you did.
That's a lie.
Yes, you did.
Okay, so you're playing drums.
Yeah.
She comes up, you all make eye contact.
Yes. And
She flashes you.
She flashes me,
No.
and then she starts getting closer. Yes, she did. And she starts dancing on top of me. Like she's
No.
literally in my lap while I'm playing drums.
No.
Just dancing and everything. Don't
No.
deny it. You can't deny that.
Yes, I can.
Okay, deny it all you want, but that's what happened. And while she's dancing
No.
on top of me while I'm playing drums, people are like coming by, like, oh, because
No.
I'm, it's
Lie.
entertaining and whatnot. And I'm thinking like, this is great. She's making me more money, because people are putting more money in my bucket.
No.
And
You said this
Lie.
is great. The show just got better. Okay.
It's
That's a
So
lie, though.
they're
know-
putting more money in, everybody's entertained. She's dancing on your lap and you playing the drum.
yeah.
Then what?
So then I get a phone call from my ex saying that she's at my house right now. She brought a guy over because he lost his job. He needed a place to stay, and it was the only place that she can think of to bring him. And I'm just like, okay, you know what, fine. But just know that I'm like, at this point in time, there's this girl dancing on my lap right now, and I'm bringing her
You
home.
didn't say that part.
Oh my God.
You didn't say that part.
I did too say that part.
just said-
I told you what
You
happened
said-
right after that, right after I got off the phone.
So now listen. So you end up going home together.
Yes.
What happens?
So I walk in, and she's on my couch, he's in my chair. They're talking and whatnot, giggling and laughing and everything. So we go to the bed, and her and I are, in my room, and Miss Snyder comes in the room, and she gets in the bed with us. Well, I'm talking to my ex at this point. Why aren't you out there with him? Because you brought him here. She's like, well, I'm not sleeping out there with him. I'm sleeping here with you and her. And I was just like, all right, okay, well.
Wait, so you go from playing the drums to being in the bed with Miss Snyder and your ex?
Yeah.
I'm scared to ask Jerome.
So
But what happened?
So I think you know what happened, Your Honor. She started, messing with me, and then my ex noticed, and she was like, "Oh no, that's mine." And I'm just like,
Huh?
she grabs it from Amanda. Yeah. She goes,
I'm sorry. I said what? What?
No.
Oh, it's
And
a threesome and a game of tug of war at the same time?
No.
So after about a minute or so, I'm just like, hey, y'all quit fighting. There's enough for me for both of y'all. And I'm just like,
It's enough for both of y'all?
yes,
No.
there's enough for me for both of y'all. And I'm just like, you know, I'm thinking in the back of my head, like, this is amazing, I can't. You know, I'm excited, you know, so I'm just like, I want to get control of the situation.
Okay.
And so I'm talking to my ex, I'm like, you've had me long enough, you need to learn how to share. And I told Amanda,
Oh,
like,
you start getting the lingo together.
I suppose. I mean, it just kind of came in the moment. You know?
Oh, okay, okay, and then what happened?
I was like, Amanda, do you know how to share? She goes, yes, I know how to share. And I go, all right, well then, y'all get along, be nice, play fair, let's have a good time.
No.
And so, you know, we started having sex, and you know, and it felt great. I loved it. I had a great time. And
But you didn't use protection.
no.
Which is why you're here.
Yes. That's why. But it gets better. It gets better. There's more to the story. So, Amanda, she was with me for that whole week that we were together. And
So you had sex for a week, Miss Snyder, with Mr. Evans,
A couple
You
times
would-
during the week, yes, ma'am.
and you were there all week.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so therefore, that's why you're saying
Hey.
he's Lainey's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Actual cases.
Her car had come through and slammed me up against the toolbox.
There was a torpedo coming at my face.
Personal injury court cases everyone's going to be talking about.
I can't move on from this point until I say, now you know you don't have no business playing drums out there on the street, then coming back home with some woman and not using protection, and you don't have no business coming home with him and not using no protection.
Yes, Your Honor. I understand that
Was that the only time you were intimate, Mr. Evans?
no. So I left for a week. I went to Colorado to go get a job, and I came back a week later. And before I left, we had met up one last time, and we had sex that night as well.
In the
and
car.
I didn't use protection.
Oh my gosh. We're here now. We're here. So, Mr. Evans, take me to the day you find out Miss Snyder is pregnant.
Okay, so I'm in Colorado at this point working, and she calls me like in between July and August of 2018, and I get a phone call from her, and she told me that she was pregnant, and I was like, okay, so you know, when do you find out when the baby's born, and you know, what's the sex and everything? And so she told me it's possibly a girl, and she's due sometime in January, so you know,
December.
or December, one or the other. And so,
So you just said, okay.
well, I was just like, okay, well, I'm pretty sure at that point I thought it was my baby. And I'm just like, all right, you know, so, you know, just, I'm thinking it's mine because I didn't know that she was, you know, may have been with somebody else or anything like that. I'm thinking that time that we were together was I was the only person that she was with and, you know, conceived during that time. And so I'm like, oh, yeah, it's fine. You know, if everything goes as planned, you know, I'll be there, you know, when the baby's born and everything like that. But work kept me held up, so I didn't get back until sometime in January after the baby was born. And then when I saw the baby, I was just like, are you sure she's mine? Because she don't look like me. She don't have my features. She doesn't, you know, like her nose is like more flared, and mine is like more round, and like she doesn't really like have my eyebrows, like, and I have like a widow's peak that you can't really see. It's kind of faded, but like, you know, I just got a haircut.
So during the pregnancy, you accepted that this is my child. You
Yeah.
knew you had sex without protection.
Correct.
You did the math. You said to yourself, yeah, it was probably around that time. I own up to my mistakes, and this is my baby. All right.
Yeah.
Did you ask Miss Snyder if she'd been with anyone else? Or could it be anyone else's baby? Did you ask?
After the fact, yes. After I saw her, I did.
What did she tell you when you asked her?
She said that she had slept with someone else.
Oh, so Miss Snyder, who's this other person you slept with?
I do admit I slept with someone else, but we also used protection, and it was after, what would have been after the conception date, though. It was like a week or two afterwards. And we
All
used
right. And so
protection.
how did you meet this guy that you slept with?
I had been knowing him for a little bit,
Okay. So,
but we did use protection.
okay. So,
my-
well, this court did track down that other man because we wanted to hear his side of the story. And he sent in the following statement. I admit sleeping with Amanda, but I did use a condom. The condom did not break, so I know that baby is not mine. So this statement, it basically is in line with your testimony, that you did have sex, but you did use protection. You don't think he's the father. He doesn't think he's the father.
Yes, Your
You
Honor.
also testified about your conception window, and that's a calculation that you did to show that Mr. Evans is the biological father in your mind.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you did that, you brought a calendar.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'd like to look at your calendar. So, the beginning of April, that's when you met. And you had sex all week, from the 1st through the 7th,
Yeah, it's like the end of March, beginning of April.
okay? And then you had sex one other time on April 15th. And that's what Mr. Evans testified to before he went off to work. Then, baby Lainey was born December 27th.
Yeah, she was due the 31st, but I had got induced on the 26th.
Okay, so you had sex with the other guy at the end of April, the 22nd through the 28th. And if you do the calculation, the window of conception would have been around the end of March to the first week of April. So that leads you to believe that Mr. Evans is Lainey's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Evans is the only man you were sleeping with during that time?
Yes,
because
Your
you
Honor.
didn't meet him until the 1st.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you sleep with anybody else on the 31st?
No, Your Honor. No.
The end of March?
I met him like the end of March, beginning of April.
Okay. So, Mr. Evans, now that you see this calendar, are you pretty convinced now? Has it changed your testimony? Do you believe you are Lainey's biological father?
No, she's not mine. I'm not the father. I do not believe that I am the father.
But are you basing all of this just on looks because you don't think she looks like you? Because you know we can't base everything on looks. A baby's face forms and develops over time. She may not seem to have your features now, but maybe she will later.
I mean, well, that's what I need. I need proof. I need proof of that. So, I mean, and if she...
So what kind of relationship have you developed with Lainey thus far?
I have not seen Lainey since I've been back from work.
So you've never met her?
Never.
Never laid eyes on her?
Only pictures and video chat.
But you do video chat with her?
Yeah.
And you get the pictures?
Yes.
And when you get the pictures, what, it just keeps reinforcing this isn't my child? Why are you even staying in touch then?
Well, I wanted to get a DNA test to find out if she was, because she did say that she was slept with this other man.
And so, Ms. Snyder, you gave Lainey Mr. Evans' last name,
Yes, Your Honor.
but he wasn't there for the birth or anything.
No.
And did you
Honor.
talk about that beforehand?
We
That-
had talked about it, and he was planning on coming down there, but at the last minute, he wasn't able to because of work.
But did you decide that on your own to give the baby his last name?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And you say if Lainey's not your biological child, you want your last name back. You don't want the baby to have your last name.
That's correct.
And if she is yours, you have testified that you will step up and you will take care of her.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let's get the results. Jerome, may I have the envelope? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. In the case of Evans versus Snyder, when it comes to 2-month-old Lainey Evans, if you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. It has been determined by this court. Mr. Evans, you are not the father. You were right, Mr. Evans. You are not her biological father. Ms. Snyder, I'm sorry, I know that wasn't the result you thought you were going to get today. Have you informed this other man that he could potentially be the biological father?
I told him. Maybe.
You told him?
I gave him a chance. I said, you might be, even though we used the condom, I said, there might still be a small chance.
Is there anybody else besides this man?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so I gotta say this before we go. I know young people are into this one-night stand thing where it's all so fun and you go to the bar or you're drumming on the side of the road and he's looking handsome and then you start dancing and then, but there are real-life consequences to this kind of behavior. Real life. You have a beautiful little girl now and you have to set an example, okay? If you need our help, if that gentleman that sent the statement, if he needs a test and you need to come back, we are here for you. We have counseling and resources for you both. I wish you all the very best. Remember, Ms. Snyder, we here now. Let's get the answer, all right?
Yeah, sure.
For Laney's sake. Court is adjourned.